What's going on, y'all? It's Terrence, the therapist. Thank you guys for tapping in. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you guys know when these videos are about to drop. Now, I wanted to carry this conversation on from my last video. I had some people DM me and talk to me and have some questions about the part where I spoke about therapists not giving advice. And I wanted to break this down a little bit more because I think it's very important to know how we should maneuver through therapy and manage our expectations when we go to therapy and we meet with our therapist. So I'm going to break down 3 reasons why therapists do not give advice. A lot of people are surprised and say, I thought therapy was a place where somebody would give me advice, or they will tell me what to do. Now, therapy is not a place to seek advice, and this is something that I've said on numerous times, is therapy is not a place to seek advice. Again, guidance, insight, even enlightenment can be helpful in therapy, but a therapist should not tell you what to do, even in the most extreme circumstances. A therapist should not tell you what to do. Now, a therapist, again, will guide you through maybe the adverse situations you're going through. They'll help you, give you alternative perspective and look at things differently. But again, it depends on the therapist and what their modality is, which is what is their style of therapy and how they're going to help you. But in many modalities, it is not a therapist's job to give advice or tell you what to do. Now, the first reason why therapists don't give advice is because it can literally be harmful for somebody to be told what to do. Because think about it this way, if a therapist is telling you what to do and it doesn't work out, who are you gonna be mad at? You're about to be hot, you're about to be pissed off at your therapist. And you're gonna go back to session like, I did what you told me to do, I did this, and it didn't work. Maybe you guys already had that experience because the therapist told you what to do and it didn't work. Or they told you, hey, you need to whoop, 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 whoop. And this is a big one. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people tell me, my therapist told me to break up with my boyfriend or my girlfriend. And which again, we should never tell nobody how to maneuver their relationship. Now, just a little game, maybe a therapist, they may have their own countertransference and their own issues, maybe in their own relationship, and they're telling you what to do because maybe it's something they went through, right? We talked about domestic violence situations in the last video, like maybe it was something that they went through and now you're going through and they're telling you what to do. Now, again, I don't think us as therapists, we do this from a standpoint of being vindictive or trying to have authority, because many times we feel like we're helping people. It usually may come from a standpoint of love and concern and care. But again, a therapist should not tell you what to do, even in the most extreme situations. Because what it does from that standpoint is it creates this now what phase. What I mean by now what phase is when a therapist tells you what to do, you do it. The next session, what's probably going to happen is you may go back to your therapist for more advice. Like, now, since I did this, now what do I do? And that little phase of the now what can be very harmful in the progress in treatment, which leads me to my second reason of why therapists don't give advice. It creates a codependency and doesn't allow for you as the client to really develop these skills independently. Now, ethically as therapists, we try our best not to create this codependency relationship because you're now receiving our services, especially if you're paying for services, without any true progress. Now, this doesn't pertain to goals that may take longer to obtain in therapy. You can even be in therapy for months and years, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're not making progress, but maybe the thing you went to therapy for initially may take some more time to heal from or overcome, or there's maybe a lot of life circumstances that you may be going through, so you may take a little bit more time in therapy, which is perfectly fine. And that's really based on your individual need when you are looking to go to therapy. But in many cases, therapy is not a lifelong commitment. I've met with clients myself, and sometimes they'll ask me, hey Terrence, what do I do? How a therapist should normally answer that question is putting that question back on the client. And usually the response will be, what do you feel like you should do based on the treatment goals that you set when we first began to meet for therapy? So again, the second one, we don't want to create a codependency with our therapist because therapy is not a lifelong commitment. And even as therapists, we want to see the people we work with thrive. We want to see clients obtain their goals. The third one, simply, it's not our job. It's not our job to give advice. And again, the therapist's job is to provide insight, maybe guidance, but our job is not to tell folks what to do. And this is where I believe we have to differentiate the two professions of what a life coach is and what a therapist is. And people get life coaching and therapy mixed up all the time. And again, with social media and like how information is really put out, rightfully so, it's going to get misconstrued because there are a lot of commonalities between therapy and life coaching. I would say one of the key components between a life coach and a therapist is a life coach will normally be a little bit more intentional on the coaching. Like if you think about a coach for a sports team, they'll have a playbook or they make up the plays themselves and then they send the players off to perform the play. And that's essentially where life coaching is kind of different than therapy. Life coaching may come into like more of a mentorship. Life coaching can be extended from your personal life to your profession. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, you have a life coach. And there's nothing wrong with having a life coach. I think life coaches do amazing jobs with helping folks reach their goal, specifically when it comes to somebody's personal goals. Now, a therapist will focus more on the emotional intellect as opposed to the behavior and help you come to your own awareness as opposed to telling you what to do. Giving homework or coming up with collaborative solutions isn't giving advice. What that really is you working with your therapist and having them help you guide you through your treatment goals. And sometimes that's why folks drop out of therapy because they compare therapy to a life coach and the expectations aren't managed and not knowing the difference between a therapist and a life coach. Thank you guys for tapping in. Again, my name is Terrence, therapist. I hope this video was helpful and giving insight on why therapists don't give advice. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, why you feel like therapists should not give advice. Again, make sure you guys subscribe, hit the notification bell. Until next time, y'all take care. Peace.